or running as for an officer position. Other than that, you don't miss out on any other features of the club or anything like that. This is strictly just for being an officer and voting in the election. And we do have that form. You can sign in and check that out. You can do that anytime during now to the end of the meeting. We do also have multiple links you can follow us at. One of the main methods that we inform people of our meetings and any workshops that we may be having is our mailing list. And we just collect your email and send out a mailing list about once a week, information about the club and any meetings that we have that week or workshops we have on the weekend. We also have just built a new shop where we can buy some of our merchandise. And we'll touch back on that later in this meeting because we do have brand new stuff that came out over the break. And that's real exciting. And we'll talk more about it later. Of course, if you're not in the Discord already, please join. That is our main source of contact with all you people. And you can reach back out to us and the ops team who help run the club. So that'll be the best way to be interactive amongst our members. So it's hackucf.org/Discord. And you can go ahead and scan that cool RGB QR code and jump right into the server from there. If you join the server and are confused as to why there may not be as many channels there, all you have to do is check out the rules channel, react to the message, and then you're granted access to all the public channels that we have. And lastly, we do have a Twitter. You can follow us on there. We retweet some of the competitions, support some of the other clubs at UCF, and all cyber stuff like that. So let's move on to what we'll talk about today. So we'll go into announcements, and then Dr. Tom Neteros will talk to us about some of the cyber competition teams that some of our members participate in, and that's really cool. We do have some of that new merchandise, like a t-shirt and a hoodie that you can get. And then we'll move into a video showcase explaining what is Hack UCF and stuff that we do here, so you can get more information about that. And then today we'll be doing 2 demos. One of them is by Daniel on Ghidra, which is a reverse engineering tool. So we'll show you basically how you can take a program or a binary and kind of walk back the process of how that was created and see almost the code that made it. And that's pretty cool. And then myself will be doing a live exploitation demo of essentially hijacking a computer, and we can do cool things like viewing the webcam on the victim's machine, which is pretty cool. And then we'll end out with breakout rooms, just get some small talk with an icebreaker question. And then we'll come back to the meeting and close out. So on to the announcements. We do have an operations team. If you are new to the club and you would like to help us run the club and help us brainstorm ideas and plan workshops, or if you're interested in hosting a meeting yourself, perhaps, or you would like to host a workshop, you're more than welcome to join operations. We meet every Tuesday at 8 p.m. It's going to be on Zoom, and the links for that are going to be in the Discord. We announce those to the public, so you can hop in if you're free that Tuesday night. If you are interested in pursuing that ops team, once you're in the ops meeting, you're more than welcome to ask for the ops role, and that gives you access to the ops channel where we can talk more about planning for the club and stuff like that. So it's going to be a brief announcements. We're going to start with basically who is Hack UCF and what is it that we do here. I guess we'll start off with myself as to who we are. I've introduced myself, but briefly, I'm Michael Teresi. I'm the current president of Hack UCF. And here we have Ryan, Jeffrey, and Addison. So in that order, anyone want to say hi?
Yeah, I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Jeffrey. I am the secretary of Hack UCF, and I'm mainly in charge of making sure all the socials and newsletters and stuff go according to plan, as well as a few miscellaneous things. So everyone who's new, welcome to Hack UCF. Everyone who's been here already, glad to see you back.
All right.
Hi, I'm Addison, the treasurer of Hack UCF. I handle all the money and make sure everything goes smoothly, as well as do attendance and membership. If you have any questions about that, feel free to message me on Discord.
I can't hear you, Ryan. All right. I guess we'll jump straight into the CA2 teams then. So I guess I'll start off with the slide. We do have a NightSec team that's for CTFs. That channel is also in our Discord. if you're interested in a CTF, and a CTF is a capture the flag competition, for that, you can work individually or as a team to get flags, which are objectives from certain tasks. And those tasks being something like reverse engineering, where you are given a binary, you have to reverse it and find hidden information about the program. Another category, my favorite, is forensics, where you are given a mass amount of data and you have to find the hidden information within that. We'll have more information on this as well later in the slide. But if you are interested in learning more about that, please visit the bot commands channel in our Discord, and the bot can give you the NightSec role, which will give you access to those CTF categories. And of course, anyone is welcome to join this team. It's not restrictive. It's not an academic team. It's our student-led team. So there's no restrictions on that. And here are some of the competitions that NightSec has competed in. You may recognize some of these names, like Lockheed Martin. They are hosting their own CTF challenge. High Storm is more of a blue team competition. We have to defend systems. Sunshine CTF at Beachside Orlando. That is a large event that we ourselves help establish and run. So that's pretty cool. Happens, I believe, in the fall semester. And ctftime.org. It's a online website that's open all the time, and you can practice CTFs there as well. Not mentioned here, we also have our own CTF challenges we can access at any time. That's at ctf.hackucf.org. And that's a great place to practice as well. So for this, I'll pass it off to Dr. Nederost.
Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the spring semester at UCF. And I just want to introduce myself. I'm Tom Nederost. I am the faculty advisor for HackUCF. So I work with the officers in advising them on UCF protocols and working with the Office of Student Involvement and also the Registered Student Organization. So HackUCF is part of SGA as a Registered Student Organization. Additionally, the College of Engineering and Computer Science sponsors an academic cybersecurity competition team, the UCF Collegiate Cybersecurity Competition Team, more known as C3. And there's a lot of synergies between that and what HackUCF does. But just be clear, it is a separate team sponsored by the college. It doesn't report to HackUCF. It doesn't report to OSI or SGA. And it competes in certain collegiate level competitions where there's a very strict limit on the number of students or the number of teams that UCF can enter. For instance, we may be able to only enter one team or two teams, or a team may have a limit of 6 members or 12 members, and that's all we can enter from UCF. To get on a team for C3, you need to go through an application process with me, and we usually do some type of application and tryout process for the teams. The competitions are both virtual, and many of them also involve travel. Except for this academic year, we're not going anyplace because UCF has a ban on all travel. Fortunately, most of the competitions have moved or changed formats to a virtual format for this year. Just to let you know, the C3 team maintains an account at the UCF Foundation. So, and they solicit donations from different corporations and individuals to support the team's expenses for travel. So we do not receive anything from the student government organization or from your membership dues. So don't think you're paying for the C3 team to do anything. That's totally separate. There is a really, I guess, mentioned a very good synergistic relationship between HackUCF and the C3 team. If you're familiar, UCF also has a UCF programming team. That's kind of what C3 is an equivalent of. It's sponsored by the college as opposed to being a student organization. But as I mentioned, there's benefits to both. The C3 team is very, very competitive. They've done very well over the last 8 years in their existence, and they get a lot of media coverage, which then brings a lot of interest to UCF about cybersecurity and specifically to our club. And then the club's workshops are the great place for students like yourself, members of HackUCF, to build your skills and be eligible or basically learn the skills you need to be successful in trying out for one of the C3 teams. Can we go to the next slide, please? Oh, okay, there we go. The C3 teams that you might have heard of some of these competitions that we do. The Collegiate Penetration Testing Competition has a regional round, typically held in Augusta at Augusta University. And the winner from that from the regional round gets to compete in the national round. And that's always held at the Rochester Institute of Technology. Every year, there's also a Raymond James CTF, which we're only allowed to enter one 5-person team, and that's held over in St. Petersburg, Florida at their headquarters. Cyberforce competition is sponsored by the Department of Energy, and our team typically competes at Argonne National Lab near Chicago. The Information Security Talent Search is another competition that is run by a student organization at Rochester Institute of Technology. And typically we can only enter one team and we have to fly up to Rochester. However, this year, this spring, it is a virtual competition, and I believe they are still accepting teams. Hopefully you received some information about that at the end of last semester. If not, we'll send it out again this time. You need to put a team of 4 to 5 people together and then fill out the registration process through the Information Security Talent Search website. As I mentioned, it's like you just find your friends and you can compete in this competition this year. The Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition is one of our biggest competitions every year. We typically compete in the Southeast region, and that goes through a qualification round, which is virtual. If our team qualifies, and they have for all 9 years, basically, we would go to Kennesaw State University outside of Atlanta to compete in the regional round. And then the winner of the regional gets to go to the national round, which typically is held in San Antonio. For the past previous to this year, it had been held in Orlando for 2 years, but it's going back to San Antonio. Other competitions that we have done in the past, and it's undetermined if they're going to happen in the future. A lot of things change every year. There's a lockdown competition where we got to go to the University of Buffalo. If you're familiar with that geography, Buffalo, New York is also a half hour from the Canadian border in Niagara Falls. So it's that's kind of a fun trip. Wicked Six Cyber Games is held on the very last day of Black Hat in Las Vegas. And that the very next day, DEF CON starts. So that's an interesting competition that is supposed to happen again this year. Cyber Seed is held at the University of Connecticut. The PCTE Cyber Academy Challenge is actually held here in Orlando. There's a very large convention each year called IITSEC. It's a simulation event for companies trying to do business with U.S. government. And they have a training environment. It's a persistent cyber security training environment, I think is what the PCTE stands for. And we can enter one team in that as well. It's called the Academy Challenge because it's just us, UCF, USF, and then all of the military academies across the United States enter into that one. Other competitions we've done in the past, a Center for Cybersecurity called NIATech out at Idaho State University has a cyber defense competition. Another type of Center of Cybersecurity at Iowa State in Ames, Iowa has a cybersecurity competition. That's the Ice Age one. We've also participated in the National Cyber Analyst Challenge at Temple University, and this year for the first time, we entered competition for a different competition at Temple called the Social Engineering Challenge. And there's also another competition called the International Collegiate Cyber Defense Invitational, which follows very similar rules to CCDC, and it's held at Highline College, which is just outside of Seattle, Washington each year. So those are some of the competitions that the C3 team does. And these slides will be up after the fact. You can pretty much Google any of these names to find the website for those specific competitions if you want to learn more about them. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Tom. And this will not be the last you hear of the C3 teams. If this is something that you think you are interested in or you would like to try out in, please stick around and you may hear more about this closer to the end of the semester and a bit into the fall. once these teams begin their tryouts once more. So before we move on to the fun stuff of this meeting, we would like to take a moment to plug our merch. We did have a design competition last semester. We had 3 designs submitted, and the one in the center won the most popular vote. And that's the one that we gave a free charge to the winner. However, we are doing something new this year. And now that everything's online and remote, it cost us nothing to put all of the designs on the store because it is on print-on-demand service. So if your favorite design didn't win, don't worry. All 3 of them are now on the store. I believe at this time, if you are a dues-paying member, you may have received an email with a coupon code for a discounted shirt. Because you did pay $10 to join, you do get the $10 back on a discount for the shirt. If you are not a dues-paying member, don't worry. You can still get these shirts online. And you can visit that at shop.hackucf.org. It's going to be in the featured shirts category. If you are a dues-paying member, but for some reason you did not get the coupon code, it may have been we just missed the email, or you paid dues just very recently, please feel free to drop in our Discord and let us know, or email shop@hackucf.org, and we will help you take care of that. Also, last semester, we did have a hoodie design, and we had 1 submission, so that's going to be the one that we sell. So it is going to be crowdfunded. So we give them a rough estimate of how many people we predict to buy. As it stands right now, it's looking to be $48 per person. And it is going to give you an extra $6 or so for shipping because you have to ship it out to everyone. This one does not have a coupon code, unfortunately, for a dues-paying member. But the more people that do buy it, it will be at a less price per person because it will be in bulk. For that link, please visit hoodies.hackucf.org. And again, for any questions about this or anything we've discussed previously, again, feel free to drop in our Discord. We're going to be hanging out there after the meeting. So on to the next slide, which I believe is a video. Hello, my name is Michael Teresi, President of HackUCF for the 2020-2021 school year. If you are a returning member, welcome back. If this is your first time, we're glad to see new faces. With introductions out of the way, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we do here. About each Friday of the semester, we host our general body meetings. During those, we start with current events where we mention cyber-related happenings over the past week, and tool time, where we briefly go over and demo a tool that you may end up using one day in a job. These then follow into our main talk, usually a guest speaker from industry. We have cybersecurity analysts, penetration testers, and sometimes even a student-led presentation. We also sometimes host workshops on the weekends, which is like a tool time, but much more interactive and designed to guide you along the process.
HackUCF strives to provide many opportunities for students to get involved in the world of cybersecurity. We host weekly Friday meetings, hold weekend workshops, and participate in competitions, to name a few. Every Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we host our general body meetings. During these meetings, we typically discuss what's going on in the world of InfoSec, demonstrate a new tool during our tool time, and have a presentation. These presentations can vary. Some are given by HackUCF members and alumni, some from industry professionals, and every last Friday of the month, we will have a more interactive deep dive into the week's tool.
We also regularly host workshops during the weekends, providing hands-on experience with tools, technologies, and more. We try to cover as many topics as we have public interest in, as well as the skills we have available. In the past, we've done workshops on virtualization, intro to networking, building a budget home lab, intro to command line interfaces, system hardening, steganography, and an introduction to capture the flag competitions. Last semester, our workshop focus was on introducing concepts and building up beginner skill sets. This semester, we're shifting our focus to preparing you to get that first job in industry or to land that internship. So far, we've geared up a workshop on the reverse engineering tool Ghidra and an introduction to red teaming. We're still early in the planning stages, so if you have something that you'd like to learn, or better yet, if you've got something you'd like to teach, let us know in the Discord or send an email to ops@hackucf.org. We look forward to seeing you in the workshops and wish you a happy, healthy, and safe spring semester.
Outside of that, we also compete in CTFs. A CTF is a capture the flag competition where as a team or individually, you compete various challenges finding flags. Some categories are pwn, where you must compromise the system to find the flag, or my favorite, forensics, where you are given a set of data and must find the information hidden within. If you're interested, visit our Discord at hackucf.org/discord and visit the bot commands channel to assign yourself a night sec role. Lastly, we do have 2 academic teams that our members participate in. CCDC is a competition where you must use your system administration skills to defend a poorly configured network from active attack. CPTC is a competition where you are contracted with compromising a company network and must report on your findings. If those sound interesting to you, you'll have to stick around a little while longer to hear more information for those. For CPTC, that'll be later this semester, and CCDC is going to be a bit into the fall semester.
So that's Hack UCF. We mostly communicate via our Discord, where you can find hundreds of like-minded people, and our virtual cyber lab, a place to socialize when the actual cyber lab is closed due to COVID. We'll be playing Jackbox there tonight after the meeting, so be sure to join in and drop in and play some games with us. We also send a weekly newsletter. You can sign up for it at hackucf.org/mailing-list. We also have a Twitter and Instagram account that we keep active, so follow us there. We hope you enjoy the rest of the meeting, stay safe, and have a good semester.
After that, we're going to move into the tool times today. So first off, it's going to be Daniel with Ghidra. So I'm just going to hand it off to him. So Daniel, take it away.
All right, cool. Can everyone see my terminal? Yeah,
I can,
awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right. If anyone has comments or questions or anything, like while I'm going through this, just like stop me because I can't see the chat. So I'm gonna run us through Ghidra real quick, and it's not gonna be like super in depth or anything, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to have some kind of a binary to work with. So let's just go ahead and make something real quick. Bear with me. I'm just a little nervous. Don't want to forget that new line character. Wow. End game. Cool, so we got verification that the binary works. Let's go ahead and get Ghidra going up. And it's booting off screen real quick. Let me drag that over. Cool, so now we've got the starting Ghidra window. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start a new project. Non-shared project is fine. We'll call it Ghidra demo. Cool. And then we'll need to import files. So let's go ahead and import this a.out that we just generated. Cool. Now, I don't know exactly if it was a recent update, but the way that I used to do this was just to like let it do its own thing. We're not gonna be able to do that. So we're gonna click raw binary. We're gonna come down here to what it was compiled on, which for this specific instance was x86 and GCC. So we're just going to go ahead and click OK. It's going to do its thing. Cool. Summary. Awesome. So let's go ahead and open this up and let's see like what this binary looks like on the inside. Come on, Ghidra, don't fail me now. Hey. All right, we're gonna analyze it. Let it do its thing. Cool. So on the inside, this looks really, really ugly, and that's because Ghidra is not interpreting it as like what it actually is. It's just saying that it is a, it's just a base level binary compiled on x86 machine, and it doesn't really get a whole lot of knowledge about what's going on here. And sometime later in the semester, we're going to be going much, much deeper into this. But I just wanted to demonstrate what it is that you could do with Ghidra. So we're going to go over here to search. We're going to do memory. We're going to search a value, and we know the value that's in there because we just watched the binary get made. Yep, not hex. We need a string. So let's go ahead and search all. Here we go. String hello world. That looks promising. Cool. So we got this guy right here, hello world. And over here on the right side of the screen, you will see that I've got the hex being displayed. So what I can do here is I can edit this hex, right? This whole string right here, highlighted in green, that's this string. Now, in a real world environment or like in some kind of a CTF or something, what you want to do is you'd want to be modifying or patching this binary to make it do what it is you needed to do. If it was trying to like prevent you from like getting access to an area because you didn't have a password or whatever, and you wanted to bypass that, this would be the area of memory that you'd be wanting to like play around with. Now it's just a hello world program, so there's only so much that we can do, but let's change the message maybe. Oh, well, I guess it would help if we were editing, huh? Sorry, y'all. Yeah, that looks good. I'm just going to go ahead and save it. So we've edited the string now. We're going to go ahead and export the program, not as a Ghidra zip, but as a binary. And output file, let's give it a new name. Let's call it new output. Okay, cool. Things are looking good. Now this is where we'll figure out if my sacrifice to the demo gods worked out. We're going to close the tool. Let's see what we got going on here. That is the wrong tab. All right, awesome. We've got hello world. We've got a.out. We've got new output. So let's go ahead and chmod plus x new output, and then we will run new output. And there we have it. That is a successful string modification inside of Ghidra. And if you thought that was cool, or at least in the littlest bit interesting, like I said before, we'll have a whole workshop on Ghidra, bring you from zero, maybe not the hero, but up there. And you'll be able to learn a lot. So thank you guys. I appreciate your time. And I'll turn it over to Michael.
All right, cool. There was one question in chat, but it looked like it was addressed by the people. If you want to add anything to it, you're more than welcome to, Daniel.
I can't see the chat right now, and I have.
How did you know which hex to edit?
Because I practiced this like 6,000 times because I'm so nervous about failing while everyone's watching.
I suppose that's a valid answer.
No, but seriously, so you saw in the section that I was talking about the search string. If you know that there is a part of the binary that you want to find, perhaps like you run it and you try to input a password, right? And it says wrong password and it kicks you back out. That string where it says wrong password is stored in the binary somewhere. So you'll be able to, like I did, go through and search for that specific string. And then when that shows up, you can see all the different parts that particular part of the binary is connected to. So if it's checking whether or not the password is a correct password, and it's determining that you've got a bad password, but then into like the right password. But that's probably more in depth than what you're probably asking about.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Now we'll move on to the second demo provided by me, which is maybe even more complicated to get done right live. So, all right, cool. So what I'm going to try to do, which didn't work last time, did not practice it 1,000 times, just like Daniel. However, I'm going to try and open up Armitage. What that is a graphical interface for Metasploit. Metasploit is a And Metasploit is going to be a tool that red teamers use. It's full of payloads, exploits, all useful information that you may need to do when you're trying to hack into a computer. But this is just a graphical representation of it. So it'll be a lot prettier to demo. So let's watch it work. Just got to put that up. So access to all of the software. Ghidra, you can find online. It's an easy download. I believe it's a Java program. However, what I'm doing today is using a Kali Linux machine. That is a operating system forked of Debian. So it's an operating system that comes pre-installed with all of the tools for hacking, exploitation. And I believe it has some programs like Ghidra, if not Ghidra exactly. But it does have a lot of tools useful for CTS, penetration testing, and playing around with this kind of stuff. How to hack the Pentagon? We will not tell you that today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a listener on my machine, which is going to listen for a specially crafted request. And before this meeting, I sent someone a special file that may be malicious in nature. So when that file is run, it's going to try and call back to my machine. And I'm going to try to set up my machine to listen for that request. The payload that I used was a reverse HTTPS listener. So what that means is an HTTP request is going to be made out to my machine. Hopefully I figured everything correctly. It is a Windows using the interpreter shell reverse HTTPS. Here's the information we can configure. All that's cool. I just want to change the port that I'm listening on. And that's kind of the identifier to know on my machine which program that should go to. Everything looks right. And I'm going to say launch. And it's going to start listening on my machine. And if that program is run on the victim machine, there should be something back. So it looks like I'm getting a connection. And in the graphical interface, we can see that happen. So here we can see a totally innocuous machine that looks like it's running a version of Windows with the internal IP address. And I've made it through the outside firewall because this is a reverse connection. So there is no, the firewall cannot stop me here. We can see the host name of the machine is desktop4ENN15N. And the username on this machine that I'm accessing is totally UCF, not a VM. So that's fun. So now that I've accessed with this machine, as indicated by the red frame and the lightning bolts, that's how you know you successfully hack someone. When you see lightning, you know you're doing very well. So now that we're a user on the machine, we're going to try to escalate privileges. So to do that, there's a payload called smart hash dump. And that's a post exploitation, which I can use after I get the little lightning bolts. And it's going to gather Windows hashes. So let's run that. And get system, I'll change to a value of 1, which means yes. So if you do get hashes, try to use those to escalate. So let's launch, and hopefully it works. So it's going to run that and see if it works. Seems to be processing. This is the part where we wait. And then we keep waiting until something happens. Running his job number 2 at any minute now. Running module against desktop. Some things are slow, but it'll get there eventually. Oh, hashes will be saved as loot. Insufficient privileges. Oh no. I'm receiving a message. Let's try this one more time. Oh, it looks like it did anyway. Magic. Let's see what happens. Brief intermission. Doesn't opened. Let's try again. If not, this is going to be fun. Let's see. If not, I'll boot back out to the console, and we'll do this without the pretty GUI because it's not as enticing. All right. It froze. Let's just go ahead and kill this real quick, and we'll do this again. Sorry for that. Or can I? I'll just try it again real quick, and then we'll move on to the method that would work. 1, system 2, launch. This is why we practice. But it will work, don't worry. Because then we can get to the fun stuff, like viewing the desktop, or locking them out of their own machine, or viewing cameras and stuff like that. We didn't make a strong enough sacrifice to the demigods. Command line is better, but it's not as pretty to look at. That's why we're doing it this way. The GUI is just slower. If it works, then we can do fun stuff. Hacking's not always this much waiting. It's much more fun. There we go. So we take it from total UCF now to VM, which is the username, and we're going to dump the hashes on the machine. And a hash is a way of storing a password. So with this payload, or with this exploit, what we're going to do is get the encrypted version, essentially, of the password and try to use that to authenticate as a higher privileged user. Hopefully it works. Cool. It's still trying. How do we get the password from the hash? I believe it doesn't need to reverse the hash. It can actually pass the hash directly to authenticate and do the processing on the client side. It's taking a while, but we'll try another method anyway. So what we can do with the session 2 that was formed, we can try to interact. And here we can get command with interpreter or desktop VNC. And that's all fun, but there's more things we can do. One of them is, let's take a screenshot and see what that does. That doesn't take forever. It is going to, yes. Yeah, my interpreter, this one's a bit slow. All right, for the sake of time, we're gonna jump to the command line and go from there. So let's kill this. Sorry, folks, give us 1 second. And we'll do it the old-fashioned way, because this is not doing so hot. So we'll open up the terminal. And we'll open up Metasploit and we'll do the command method. Yay. So MSF console opens up the interpreter, which is the command line, not the GUI. So I'll try to walk us through this. Command line is better than the GUI, but the GUI is much prettier, you have to admit. So we will use that same handler, use exploit multi-handler. That's the same graphical interface I set up first. Set payload to Windows reverse HTTPS. Sorry, folks. Show options, kind of the stuff we can get in the GUI, but here, show options. There we go. Set L port. Run. So set L host to my interface. The GUI does that for us. And there we go. And let's see if that worked. There we go. Look at that, much faster. So now that I'm this, we can see what happens. So I'll go background to open up a payload. So I'll search my payloads for that same search and smart hash. We'll search smart. I probably typed it wrong. And we'll use 13, which is the ID there. Show options. Set session to the interpreter system I have open. Set get system. And this is all the stuff we did in the GUI. This is just the long way about it. And now we will run. And this is much faster. So we can see trying to get system privileges. Let's see. This worked last time. The command line definitely did. And if this doesn't work, it's going to be very sad. What this is I was trying to do it with a graphical interface with the GUI. This is the same process, but we're trying it again with the command line, because the GUI was very slow and failing us. It should get system privileges. If it doesn't, we'll try the method anyway. This is cool. Any news on the other end of this machine?
Not really. I swear I gave it admin privileges. Yeah, Defender is fighting for its life, so
We're trying
I
to beat it
turned
into submission. Let's
I
go.
turned it off. I turned it off, and it's still complaining.
All right.
You
Go
can
Def-
never really turn off Windows
Yeah.
Defender.
So this is
It's
a testament to
impossible.
Windows Defender. Here's
It just
evidence
comes
that
back on like next week.
right.
Anyway.
You don't need antivirus. You have Windows Defender, which stops anything. Of course.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see what we can do anyway. So we'll open up the session as Metasploit. I'm really gonna hope this works. So what we can do is instead, let me load Kiwi and watch this work. Loading extension Kiwi. What this is basically another method to jump hashes. Hopefully this works. Hopefully we can finish this up demo and we don't have to end on a bunch
Allow.
of red
Turn
text.
you off Windows Defender.
Okay.
Try
Oh,
turning it
no.
off with. Do you have a root policy editor on your
Okay.
VM or UCF? I mean,
Uh,
you can turn it off with that effectively.
this is great.
I am not good at MMC.
This worked before, I promise y'all. This is why we don't do live demos. This is why we have the pretty video, you know?
Yeah,
It's nice to look
record
at.
it next time.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
all
I'll
our tool
pre-record it.
times are going to be pre-recorded. Jeffrey, you're not editing them.
Yeah, yeah. All right. What we can do, let's
Yeah.
try webcam list. Let's look to the fun part, right? So on this machine, let's see if there's any webcams connected.
I think if Windows Defender snaps it, you got to restart a new session.
Either the Windows Defender done got us, or my session died.
See, from my experience with running around with Interpreter, if your session gets hit, you have to restart a new session, even if the session is technically still up.
Yes. So let's look at the jobs or sessions. Session, is it TAK1? Yes, it is. Let's try this one more time. This is very disappointing. Defender, not fun. Getting in the way. Should you pirate Windows Defenders? I cannot recommend that. Use exploit multi-handler. Let's try one more time. If not, real disappointing. Let's get that green text.
There we go.
Okay. Let's try this. So help. Let's do webcam list. Hopefully we don't need system for this. We do see 1 HP USB webcam. Now webcam. Let's try stream and see what that does. There we go. that worked. So
God, he knows.
yes, we found him. So this was the under end of the machine. We were able to exploit the machine and view the webcam on that host machine. That's what we were getting to ultimately. So with that, I believe there's some other cool stuff that we can do. One of them being, let me go ahead and just actually close that out, not have that running forever. There's some other cool commands we can have. We can record the microphone. So we can spy on him without him even knowing. The problem with the record microphone, there's no light on your microphone. There's a light in the webcam, but not the microphone. So that's another thing you got to watch out for. I can do let's see. What other fun stuff do we have? We have a
Screenshot. Do screenshot.
screenshot. We do. So what's the, oh, it's angry.
It's called screenshot.
Screenshot. What does that do? It saved an image to my home thing. Okay, cool. That's not useful. We'll open up the folder there. This is complicated.
Right. There's also no light on your screenshot system.
And there we go. That's a snapshot of the desktop at the time. So that's cool. Now I think there's one more thing we can do, which is actually really cool. Of the command for it, I believe was, if I recall correctly, one of these was fancy. Watch the screen share. Screen share. I'm going to record an actual live view of this system. So we can see him actually doing things live.
Set up face sign in.
It's a face sign in.
Yeah, do that.
Uh-oh.
You should also do key logging. You can do that without system privileges.
Yes, you can. So we will close this, and we'll do key scan start. And we'll key scan. And if he begins typing things, we can dump those to my screen. That is if things get typed on the host. If not, oh well, you may have to get system for that. Unfortunately, the getting system did not work, but we can still view the webcam and view the
I
screen.
think you have to stop, then dump.
I don't know, but we can also just type in shell, and now I'm in PowerShell on the user. So I can do things like view items on the host, or dir. I can see items there. So secrets.txt. It's a double text file. That's how you know it's nice and secure. So to screen, we can see secrets.txt, and we can read the file. So now we have his credentials for something. So that's pretty neat. Yes, not a Trojan.exe. You know it's safe because it's not a Trojan. It told you that.
Yeah, you gotta make sure to run it as admin as well. Don't ever run your
Yes, yes.
Trojan as not
Don't.
user.
Yes, running as admin.
Always run
definitely helps.
malware as admin.
Yeah, it definitely helps. If you run it as admin, what it does is it prevents Defender from bothering you all the time because it's already administrator. That's why we recommend doing that.
And don't forget, Defender disable it first and then disable it again. And then again.
Yes.
Once it's not enough.
If I can get this correct. Just open automatically is the question.
Apache Bench command line utility. I'm sure this is fine.
Yeah.
Allow access.
And then what we can do is on my end, open Rembina, which is a remote access tool. And we will connect to localhost as instructed, or it does it for me. That's cool. And I can begin to control the machine myself over some nice slow connection. But I do have access to the machine. I can't control it. It's just a bit slow on my end, however. Let me do something. We will see. Anyways, I think that gets the point across. Don't run things that say they're not a Trojan, especially as administrator. And if Windows Defender blocks you, it probably knows what it's doing. Yes, do not download pirate games. That's basically how you get to where you are now in this live demo. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it here. So that was pretty cool stuff we can do with exploitation and things like that. So let's go ahead and close this out. Oh, angry Windows noises. And we'll move into the closing for this. So we'll do a quick breakout room. Let's do like 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes. Thank you to all of you who joined us live. If you found this interesting and would like to hear more from us, please visit us at our Discord at hackucf.org/discord for future meeting information and announcements. We hope you stick around. Until next time.